Single people who are traveling abroad have more advantage than people who are already married before traveling abroad. Today, you are going to learn something new because a lot of you may not really know this. My own here is to give you updates on how to plan your journey. Mine is to see you succeed. Mine is to give you this breakdown of what it's like abroad so that you can make your decisions before leaving home. When you are single, there are some advantages with it if you are traveling abroad. And this advantage, people who are already married back home don't have it. This is why this content is very, very important, because there are people who took visas. They spent their monies, they spent their time, they waited, paid travel agents to apply for visas for them. At the end of the day, a lot of them are still battling, struggling for survival, even after 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, in some countries where others are doing well. That is because they lacked the necessary information to succeed in that country. So that is why sometimes it is not always all about visa. It is usually all about information. Information is ruling this world now after God. That is why you see that the Chinese people, the Indian people, people usually from like Asia, in developed societies, they don't play with information. They love information. People pay for information. But the issue is that a lot of our people are not willing to pay for it. They are not even willing to spend their time to get this information. They just want everything for free. A lot of our people want somebody to waste their time to get the information while they do something that is meaningless, and at the end of the day, you want somebody who have taken his time, no pleasure, to get this update, to come and share it with you for free, whereas you could have also used your time to get this information. So that is why sometimes I don't blame people who charge money for information. It is worth paying for. Now, few days ago, a follower of mine reached out to me and said, please, is it better for me to marry before I travel abroad, or should I travel as a single person? One of my subscribers here on YouTube. I told the guy, I said, you have more advantage if you travel abroad as a single person. And today, I want to give you those advantages. Please do well to subscribe to this channel if you have not yet done so. And also give this content a big like so that YouTube may recommend or might recommend this content to others who might also be interested. And I want to give a sincere thanks to my returning and existing subscribers. Thank you very much for your support. Now, advantage number one that single people have over married people abroad is that, don't forget, one of the easiest ways to get documents, to get legal status abroad is through marriage. And while you are traveling abroad as a single person, that option of getting documents as a single person through marriage is opened for you. For instance, let's say if as a Nigerian, as a Cameroonian, as a Kenyan, as somebody from South Africa, Botswana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Uganda, Mozambique, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Togo, Benin Republic, Burkina Faso, Ghana, from these countries. If you go to a country like Canada and eventually you get married to a Canadian citizen, through that process, you get your residency. Through that residency, you can become a citizen of Canada. Not just Canada, here in the US, UK, in many countries. And there are cases where married people travel abroad. After they traveled abroad, because they were married, they couldn't get married to people abroad because they were already married to people back home. So, and as such, it closed the door of them getting their documents through marriage, which is not the same for single people. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Now, let me give you a typical example. There are cases where people traveled abroad with visitor visas and eventually fell in love with somebody who is a citizen of that country. And because they liked each other, because they were in love, even while the visitor was on a visitor visa, he or she got married to the citizen, and through that process, they became legal residents in those countries. And through that process, a lot of them are citizens in those countries today. So this is one of the advantages of traveling abroad as a single person. Now, another advantage of traveling abroad as a single person is during the process of applying for a visa, you don't need too much money in your bank account to secure a visa for yourself, for your wife, and maybe your children. Because, like I have said in many of my contents, an amount that is required for a single person to have in his or her bank account to get a visa is smaller than the amount that is required for two people to apply for a visa. For instance, if you need maybe 10,000, maybe you need like $10,000, or let me say 10 million in your bank account to secure a particular country's visa, for example, as a single person. If you use that 10 million naira to apply for a visa for you and your wife, or for you and your husband, or for you and your spouse and your children, they will not give you that visa because they feel like that money won't be enough for you to take care of yourself and your spouse and even your children on that trip. So it is cheaper to travel abroad as a single person. Yes. Now, third advantage of traveling abroad as a single person is this. When you are traveling abroad as a single person, you don't have too much to prove to the immigration officer of that country that this person is your husband or your wife. Because there are some cases where people submitted marriage certificates that they were traveling with their spouses, and eventually the visa officer in that country denied those people the visa, saying that the marriage certificate they submitted were fake. This happened to a lot of people. Yes, it has happened to a lot of people in the past. So when it's just you are applying for that visa to defend just yourself, nobody else. And like I have also said in my previous contents, if you are not married yet, like I have told some guys and some ladies, especially the guys, if you think you are in one relationship where you are spending money for one babe, and the babe is not taking you serious with all the money you have spent, that relationship, stop it. Gather your money and travel abroad as a single person. The same thing with the ladies. If you are in any relationship with a man who is not showing that he values you, you are giving your best, this man is treating you as if you are a nobody, end that relationship. If you have money, travel abroad as a single person, you have the advantage. Because sometimes many people don't even know this thing. There are people who ought to travel abroad before they got married. But all in the name of, oh, I want to get married. I want to get married. Many of them got married back home in Africa and they are tied there. In many cases, or in some cases, with the wrong partners. Whereas they would have been able to travel abroad and find suitable partners. Because for many of us back home, we just feel like, oh, visa, I need travel agent. I need travel agent. If you get a travel agent to travel to that country, have you asked yourself, how are you going to succeed if you get to that country? Have you done your research on that country? Because sometimes it pains me that many of you value the opinion of your travel agents more than you doing your research. All the information you want about that country, they are online. That is how currently now, as I am making this content, people are stranded in a lot of countries, in Asia especially. That wasn't supposed to be so. But because you believed everything your travel agent told you, you failed to do your research to know if there were actually jobs waiting for foreigners in that country. You did not do it. You paid travel agents millions of naira, millions of CFE, thousands of dollars, and eventually you ended up in some countries where the citizens are even struggling for survival. What a shame. So this is what this content is all about. And I will also be bringing you updates back to back moving forward. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Have a good one.